Tonight on Joy News Prime, rescue efforts at mine pit caving at Bremen in the central region Wednesday dawn called off after officials declared there were no more bodies under the debris. The Land and Natural Resources Minister described the accident as unfortunate, but says it only goes to buttress the need for the war against illegal mining.
That the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry move forward to be able to sanitize the small-scale mining industry. President Akufo-Addo meanwhile gives his full backing to the destruction of mining equipment in the latest phase of the war against illegal mining.
Can accrue to or flow from the criminal venture of grievances. The equipment, which is being used for an illegal or criminal purpose, cannot confer on the owner or any other person any rights whatsoever.
Laboratory scientists at Parliamentary Teaching Hospital declare full-blown strike from tomorrow over the management's refusal to withdraw 2 medical doctors posted there to superintend activities.
We are going to affirm the NEC decision that the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists NEC have taken, that this strike be escalated to a total full-blown strike where we won't even give a timeline. Until management resolve our issues, we are not going to come to work.
Ghana National Association of Teachers urged head teachers to speak out about challenges plaguing implementation of government's free SHS system.
Teachers are sick and tired of the austerity measures being meted out to us. You see, we cannot continue remain silent when all of us here, including, it's unfortunate, our directors, are aware that all is not well.
In business, Vice President Dr. Mamadou Bawumia challenges Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement to move quickly to liberalize airspace among member countries to facilitate easy movement of goods and services.
I'm challenging the AFCFTA Secretariat and the Secretary General to move quickly, for example, in the implementation of open skies across the African continent.
My name is Israelai, and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our Founder Studios at Kokomlemle here in Accra, on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air, and also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is the home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in. The Bono East branch of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists has threatened to declare strike Thursday in solidarity with its colleagues at the Parliamentary Teaching Hospital who have been on strike for almost a week to protest and demand the removal of 2 medical doctors posted to the hematology unit to superintend their work. Anna Sabit has more in this report.
The Bono East Regional Branch of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists has thrown its weight behind the strike action by the laboratory professionals at the Parliamentary Teaching Hospital. The group has threatened to join the strike over unresolved labor issues. Moses Kofiole is the regional chairman of the Bono East chapter of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists.
Someone will say this is an issue of CAT. What about Bono East region? Bono East region is concerned because the main aim of the CAT or the doctors, those laboratory physicians, is that they want to manage the labs from the teaching hospital level to the district level. And there is a region, we have district hospitals, we have regional hospitals. If the law, which is now preventing them from practicing, is not implemented and they are allowed to come into the lab to do whatever they want, then what will be the fate of the medical laboratory scientists? We have been trained purposely for that purpose. Every medical laboratory scientist now has what it takes to produce quality and acceptable lab results for the management of patients. Why will it take someone from a different profession to come and boss over me or to come and validate my results before they could be used to treat a patient? This is the issue of concern to us, and we think the law must be implemented to prevent all these issues.
According to him, the regional chapter is poised and will lay down its tools if the situation is not resolved by Thursday.
We are ever ready, and our people are poised. We are not interested in threatening anyone. In fact, we care much about the patients. Taking such decisions to go on strike are difficult for us, but the right thing must be done. And we are saying that if the issue is not resolved by tomorrow, when the CAT deadline will end, we are going to join them. So this is an indication. We have started with the red bands today. Tomorrow, we are going to see the outcome. If the law is not enforced, we are going to join them and we'll embark on the strike from tomorrow.
The group therefore appealed to the Health Ministry to intervene in order to save the situation.
We are appealing. At this point, we should not be appealing. But because of the concern we have for our patients, we are appealing to the ministry and the presidency to come in and halt this process. In fact, it is going to cause a lot of damage to the industrial peace we are enjoying in the hospitals.
Our checks at the Teaching and Women and Children's Hospital revealed that members of the group are in red bands, displaying their readiness to join their colleagues at the Confanochi Teaching Hospital if the impasse is not resolved by Thursday. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Teachman.
Well, in a related development, the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists at Confanochi Teaching Hospital has declared a total strike over management's failure to withdraw the 2 physicians posted to the directorates. The decision was made at an emergency meeting at CATH. Members say they cannot be blamed for the death of any patient at the hospital. MMDCE has been monitoring developments and has more in the following report.
The medical laboratory scientists have been on a sit-down strike in the past 1 week, pending management's decision to withdraw the 2 medical officers. Members say management of CAT should be blamed for any consequence of the industrial action. President of the CAT branch of the association, Ernest Bedu-Boatin, spoke to Joy News after the meeting.
It's a week old since we declared a sit-down strike. There may be a lot of anguish on part of our patients. There may be a lot of anguish on part of us. The pressure on us was enormous. Management have still not yielded to our resolve and our position to withdraw the 2 doctors. So today we are going to affirm the NEC decision that the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists NEC have taken, that this strike be escalated to a total full-blown strike where we won't even give a timeline. Until management resolve our issues, we are not going to come to work.
Patients at the Confanochi Teaching Hospital have been at the receiving end of the sit-down strike. They complain about high cost of lab services provided by private laboratory facilities outside CAT.
I came to the lab for lab tests of my daughter, who will be going to see the doctor on Monday. But I came and then I was told they are on strike, so I have to go to a private lab to go and then make the lab. I wasn't even aware of the pricing, so I decided to go there. And because of the urgent need of my daughter to see the medical practitioner on Monday, I have to pay whatever amount that they asked to be paid. How much? 80 Ghana cedis. But here at Confanochi it's 50 Ghana cedis.
But Ernest Bedu-Boatin says management of CAT cannot be absolved of blame. According to him, failure of management to resolve the impasse aggravated the situation.
We are very much concerned about the cost implications of this strike and the cost patients are paying to outside laboratories. That is why it was regrettable that management had to arrange the private labs to run samples from Confanochi instead of looking at this matter and withdrawing the doctor from the hematology lab, making it look like we are dispensable, which even went a long way to infuriate my members. And that is not good. So we are calling on management that patients are bearing the brunt of this strike. Nobody is happy with what is happening. If they will allow just 2 people, just 2 hematologists, just 2 physicians to cause all this trouble and cause a nationwide strike, then if anything should happen to anybody, if any patient should die, if any patient's illness should be aggravated, or whatever it is, they should lay the blame at the doorstep of the manager of Confanochi, the chief executive officer, the medical director, the head of LSD, and then the 2 ladies who have been intransigent and still thinking that they have the right to practice the laboratory.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, MMDCE reporting.
Rescue efforts at a mine pit at Bremen, where 3 people are confirmed dead, has been called off. Richard Kojo Nyako has more in this report.
The Bremen community has been thrown into a state of mourning. 3 bodies have been retrieved so far from the mining pit as rescue efforts are underway to find about 30 others speculated to have been trapped in the pit. Ya Santo's 10-year-old son is among the dead. She tears up as she narrates how her son took part in the galamsey and calls for help. Yesterday he told me that he was going for galamsey, and I told him he should not go. I told him to stop so we could find an alternative means of getting what we would eat. He said, "Ma, you are a nurse and mother. I need to fend for you." So he left. I was here when they told me that my son was dead. I have not been able to see the body of my son. My husband is also sick. I have no help from anywhere. I beseech you to help me. Francis Ejapon is the assemblyman for the area. He is surprised to hear that some people were back to the pit mining. What I know is that they have stopped mining here. As of last week, I came patrolling here, and when I came here, I didn't see there were machines working here. As a result of the Operation Halt and Vanguard, everyone has disabled their machines. It was extremely surprising to find out that some people came here to work at dawn. When I was told some people have been here and they've been trapped, it was shocking.
Because last week, we had some has a petrol. Men some machine be a year juma. At 5:30, me dawa. And my bomb me say, "Load the broke will be someone uno." Na,
the director of Upper Dentra West National Disaster Management Organization, Isaac JC, said the incident happened in the wee hours of Wednesday. He said the miners were trapped in a galamsey pit popularly known in the area as Bremen Lokmu at the outskirts of the community. Mr. JC further reveals that his outfit was working earnestly to find those who have been trapped and save as many lives as possible. When we came here in the morning, we saw that 3 bodies had already been retrieved from the pit. One of the workers told us that 11 people usually work in one machine. While some dig, others do the carrying of the sand. Majority of them are females. When we arrived, we saw between 9 and 14 machines. Out of these machines, 4 of them are the ones involved in this accident. After retrieving the 3 bodies, the work here was tough for the people here, so we had to fall on the assemblyman and others to get more hands and then inform NADMO as well. That's how come we got these machines that are working in this rescue operation. They told us they came working at dawn, and so if some are still trapped, they won't know, and if some aren't trapped, they won't know either. But per the statistics they gave us, we anticipate about 30 that are trapped. We have worked for more than an hour with no signs of survivors. Meanwhile, the bodies of the deceased have been deposited at the Duncan Government Hospital for preservation, identification and autopsy. Reporting from Bremen in the Upper Dentra West District, my name is Richard Kwejonya for Joy News.
Well, the very latest we have is that the rescue efforts have been called off, and we'll be bringing you details on that. But the Land and Natural Resources Minister says the mine accident is enough reason to sustain the effort in sanitizing the small-scale mining industry. Samuel Abujinapo was speaking to journalists as part of his 2-day tour of the Eastern region.
The incident that is being reported obviously is a very unfortunate one. We are all keeping our fingers crossed to hope that the worst doesn't happen. And I have been in touch with the acting chief executive officer of the Minerals Commission all morning. he has sent a team to the site, and they are beginning to assemble the initial facts to be able to enable us to take informed decisions on how we deal with this situation. So early days yet, but I believe that very soon we will be able to assemble all the facts relating to this particular incident. And also for me to say that this actually underscores the need for us to sustain the efforts we are making in ensuring that the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry move forward to be able to sanitize the small-scale mining industry. So what I can say to you for now is that let us be patient and await the outcome of the initial investigation by the Minerals Commission.
Well, the Minerals Commission has since commenced full investigations into the matter. Its Inspectorate Division says its preliminary investigations indicate the small-scale miners were working illegally at the site which falls within the prospecting license of Adio Mabas Ghana Limited. Now, Isaac Abraham is the head of communication and IT at the Minerals Commission, and he joins me via Zoom for more on this. Thank you very much, Mr. Abraham. Now, what have you found out in your investigations so far, apart from the fact that these small-scale miners were working illegally? Hello, Mr. Abraham. If you can hear me, I'd want you to unmute so we can hear you too. Isaac Abraham is the head of communication and IT at the Minerals Commission, and I want to find out what your investigations have revealed so far. Right, we're having some challenges with the connection to Isaac Abraham, but let me bring to you the statement that was put out by the Minerals Commission on its preliminary findings so far. It says following reports of miners being trapped in a pit at Bremen near Ayamfuri in the Upper Dintra West District of the Central Region, inspectors from the Dunkwa, Obuasi and Kumasi offices of the Minerals Commission visited the site around 11 a.m. on May 26, 2021. Preliminary investigations indicate that small-scale miners were working illegally at the site, which falls within the prospecting license of Adio Mabas Ghana Limited. The accident, which resulted in 3 deaths at the time of this press release, was triggered by a cave-in. The Minerals Commission wishes to inform the general public that the Inspectorate Division of the Commission has commenced full investigations into the matter, and this is signed by Martin Kweku AEC, who's the acting Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission. And the update we have is that the rescue efforts at this mine have been called off at the moment. Isaac Abraham finally is available now on phone. Thank you very much, Mr. Abraham. So I want to find out what's the very latest on the investigations into this accident.
Israel, thank you very much. So far, when I checked on the ground, they are still on the ground trying to see if there are other further casualties, but we have not had any further information on that. I think the people working on the ground to retrieve bodies are still there. Our inspectors from Kumasi, Obuasi, and Dunkwa are also there currently. We are all waiting patiently to see what will come out after the initial release that we issued around close to midday this morning.
As you say, we're working illegally on the site of this the prospecting license of this other company. How is it that the Minerals Commission didn't notice, or the company didn't report it to the Commission?
Okay, this has been happening for some time now. The company reported as part of their reporting, and the Minerals Commission have been going, and then the company security have been driving these people out, and they come in, especially in recent times, and then they work into the night to early morning. So by the morning, they are done and gone. And I think, unfortunately, this incident happened this dawn. So it's been on and off. Like the people come, they try to outweigh the security of the company. And then that is what has happened, unfortunately, that has happened today.
Now, you say that what you've just put out is your preliminary investigations. What should we expect as part of your full-scale investigations?
Okay, the full-scale investigation will come at the end of the exercise currently going on to see if there are other bodies, because the information being gathered that there are other people on the ground, but it's up to when the inspectors come up with what actually really, if there are other people on the ground, then you'll be able to come up with a full report. Because as it is the preliminary one with the 3 debts that they have at hand. But I know the exercise going on currently to see if they will retrieve other bodies.
All right, thank you very much. Isaac Abraham is the head of communication and IT at the Minerals Commission. President Akufo-Addo has meanwhile thrown a challenge to those criticizing methods adopted to rid the country of illegal mining to head to court and seek redress. Government's new drive has seen the military task force burn equipment and machinery used in the mining of gold on site. Critics say the method is an affront to the law and must be reviewed. But speaking at a sword-cutting ceremony for work to start on a proposed law village at East Legon, President Akufo-Addo says the devastation caused by illegal mining is evil and must be stopped.
I would want your indulgence to use the opportunity of this platform, so appropriate in so many ways, to comment on a current matter of considerable importance which has engaged the attention of the nation. It has to do with the battle against galamsey. I know there are some who believe that the ongoing exercise of ridding our water bodies and forest zones of harmful equipment and machinery is unlawful, and in some cases, harsh. I strongly disagree, and I would advise those who take a contrary view to go to court to vindicate their position if they so wish. That is what the rule of law is all about, which does not recognize social status, religious persuasion, political affiliation, ethnic origins, or regional adherence. Merely the law and precedent, the ancient common law doctrine of stare decisis. The Minerals and Mining Act, 2006, Act 703, is the vehicle through which a mineral license is acquired and thus confers mineral rights on the holder. Any person who without a valid license conveys any equipment onto a piece of land purportedly to conduct activities for the search, reconnaissance, prospecting, exploration, or mining for a mineral commits grievous crimes against the state. Indeed, a person in possession of a valid license but undertakes mining in water bodies or mines unlawfully in protected forest zones also commits an illegality. Apart from the criminal violations of Act 703, the activities of such persons desecrate our environment, pollute our water bodies, and endanger the lives of present and future generations of Ghanaians. They are monumental crimes which should not be condoned in any shape or form. The presence of shangfines in water bodies is illegal, as is the unlawful use of excavators in protected forest zones. The devastation caused by these equipment is nothing short of evil, and we should not compromise in our efforts to protect our environment, forest reserves, and water bodies. I say with all the emphasis at my command that no rights can accrue to or flow from the criminal venture of galamsey. The equipment, which is being used for an illegal or criminal purpose, cannot confer on the owner or any other person any rights whatsoever. I appeal to all Ghanaians, including many in the opposition who are so doing, to rally behind government in its efforts to stamp out far-reaching illegality and criminality, rather than advocate for the protection of non-existent rights of persons caught in this evil activity.
Meanwhile, as part of efforts to effectively enforce the ban on illegal mining across the country, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister has announced the decentralization of its enforcement regimes. Samuel Abujinapo says the various regional security councils have been tasked to lead the enforcement of Operation Halt. Government has waged war against illegal mining, especially in forest reserves and water bodies. A number of mining equipment have been burned to eradicate the canker. Addressing the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs as part of his tour to the region, he mentioned that the government has decided to involve chiefs in the issuance of mining licenses and permits.
In many cases, the effort the central government makes, regional ministers, district chief executives, and along yourselves tend not to be aware or involved in the work of the central government. And so we have decided to decentralize our efforts, particularly as it relates to the enforcement regime. And therefore, the various regional security councils are now charged to be at the forefront of the enforcement regime. And the fifth one, is also that since I became minister, we took note of the situation where Nananom are not involved at all, in many cases, in a limited way, in the licensing regime, the permitting regime. So the traditional ruler is in his jurisdiction, and all he hears is that somebody has been given a license or a permit to mine. He's not aware. So we are taking steps to reform the licensing and or permitting regime to ensure that Nananom are actively involved.
The President of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs, Nene Sakite, appealed to the Minister to ensure that Parliament passes the bill that gives chiefs the authority to summon their subjects before them. The Chiefs' call came after the Minister made a passionate appeal to the chiefs to support the fight against illegal mining.
We wholeheartedly accept this partnership. But I want to seize Honorable Minister is also a parliamentarian. I just want to remind him of a bill which has been in Parliament for years, which takes away our authority to summon our subjects when we need them.
Right, we return to our earlier story about that mine accident at Bremen. Richard Kojo-Nyako is joining us with the very latest on it. Hello, Richard. So we understand that the rescue efforts have been called off at this point. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Israel, it is true. Rescue efforts have come to a halt because they started in the morning. They've tried, and they say that all hopes are lost. They feel that the operation should come to an end because there are no hopes of getting more survivors from the pit, and they have used excavators and all of that, but they cannot find any survivor or any of the bodies, and so they cannot even retrieve any of the bodies. And that is why the NADMO and the other agencies that helped in the rescue operation are saying that, well, they need to bring the operation to a halt and then focus on the next line of action.
So is it the case, Richard, that they couldn't find the bodies, or the people actually didn't exist, or they don't exist?
Well, so per the statistics, they indicate that 11 people work on each machine. And so they were told when they went there in the morning that 4 machines were the ones that were affected. When they went at dawn, they were able to retrieve 3 of the bodies, and these 3 bodies are the ones that are the mortuary of the Dunkwao government hospital. But apart from that, they deployed excavators and other machines, but they have not been able to find any survivor or retrieved any of the bodies. And so that is why they feel that it could be possible that there are no people that are trapped, and people have not also reported that their relatives are also missing. And so that is why they have brought the operation to a close.
Could it also be possible that there's another tunnel that leads elsewhere that the people may have escaped through?
So that will be subject of investigation and operations thereafter. But for today, they say that the operation should come to an end, and not that the operation is coming to an end actually, but they are still investigating to find whether more bodies are trapped. But they have called it halt for the rescue mission to come to an end. So if later on they find that there is a tunnel elsewhere that people could get trapped there, then they would also find another means of getting these people.
All right, thank you very much, Richard Konyako, bringing us that update there. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but still ahead. In the bulletin, Ghana National Association of Teachers urged head teachers to speak out about challenges plaguing implementation of government's free SHS system.
Are sick and tired of the austerity measures being meted out to us. You see, we cannot continue remain silent when all of us here, including, it's unfortunate, our directors, are aware that all is not well.
And in business, Vice President Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia challenges Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement to move quickly to liberalize airspace among member countries to facilitate easy movement of goods and services.
I'm challenging the AFCFTA Secretariat and the Secretary General to move quickly, for example, in the implementation of open skies across the African continent.
Stay tuned in. We'll be back in a bit.
And you're welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aiche. The Vice President has challenged the Secretariat of the Continental Free Trade Agreement to move quickly to liberalize airspace among member countries to facilitate easy movement of goods and services. According to him, Africans are anxious to see the successful implementation of the Trade Pact since it's a game changer for the development of the African economies. The Vice President also charged African countries that are yet to sign on and ratify the agreement to do so immediately. He was speaking at the Made in Africa Trade Roundtable on the implementation of the Single African Market at the Legal Studies of the UPSA Law School.
African governments, the private sector, civil society, development partners, and the general public must double their efforts and accelerate the implementation of both the AFCFTA for the sake and benefit of the current and future generations. I would like to ask the AFCFTA Secretariat to move quickly. Africans don't want to see this as a paper once again signed. We want to see implementation. We want the quick wins. We want to see that this agreement is bringing real change on the continent. And for that matter, where I'm challenging the AFCFTA Secretariat and the Secretary General to move quickly, for example, in the implementation of open skies across the African continent so that we can fly very easily amongst ourselves. This, in the context of the services protocol, I think it's something that can be actioned quickly, and we should move. It just requires commitment. I don't think it requires much more than that, and we should all move quickly to have open skies across the African continent, at least between the 38 that have ratified so far and amongst everybody else who ratifies subsequently. We will encourage and support initiatives which seek to educate the general public on issues relating to the opportunities as well as impediments to full realization of the benefits of the Continental Initiative.
Now, the Secretary General of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, Wamkele Mene, says the ACTA Secretariat will do everything possible to help the continent industrialize and boost intra-African trade by more than the present 18%. He said his outfit will soon champion a dispute settlement mechanism to boost investor confidence.
What we seek to achieve is to build Africa's jurisprudence on trade law, to build Africa's own expertise and capacity on trade law, investment law. And I don't think that legal disputes are necessarily a bad thing. I think legal disputes do assist in the clarification of the law, in ensuring that everybody knows Each country knows what each particular provision in the agreement requires of it to do. And so the legal process is a very, very important part of implementation of a free trade agreement, because, as I say, this is how you achieve predictability, certainty, and clarity of the obligations that have been enshrined in the agreement. Last month, here in Ghana, in Accra, we hosted the inaugural meeting of the dispute settlement body. And I think that it was really a very important symbol that we have here in Accra, a city and a country, Ghana, that contributed so much philosophically to Pan-Africanism. I thought that it was very, very important symbolically that we launch the inaugural meeting of the dispute settlement body of the African Continental Free Trade Area here in Ghana, to send a very, very positive signal to the investor community that Ghana is the center for trade and commercial diplomacy in Africa. And certainly that Ghana is now the host of the AFCFTA Secretariat.
Now, the Minister for Communications, Escalation Okufu, has indicated that they plan to register all SIM card-enabled devices in the country. According to her, this is part of efforts to check fraudulent activities on the rise. Addressing the media, the minister noted that the exercise may coincide with the re-registration of SIM cards slated for June this year.
The law requires us to do so. It hasn't been done for a long time because we didn't have a proper way of verifying the identity of the people to register them. All the cards that we were using had corrupted databases, so it was difficult. There was a lot of duplication in some of the systems that we have. But now with the national ID, we have a secure means of identifying and verifying the identity of people. And so now we can begin to implement the law properly. We needed to do that, put that infrastructure in place first, before we could move towards the SIM registration. Now, it's not just the SIMs that are going to be registered, but the devices are also going to be registered to clamp down on stolen and grey devices, so that if your device is registered and it is stolen, it can be blocked and it cannot be used with any SIM card in this country. We hope with that we will go a long way towards curtailing crimes committed using mobile devices and SIM-enabled devices. And I think we all understand the need for that. Now, our mobile phones are not just phones, they are our offices in our pockets. They need to be secured because of the value of the information that is stored on them, and our tablets and other devices as well. So it's imperative that we register both the devices and the SIM cards.
And that'll be it for Business. Sports is up next. To stay.
Many thanks for staying with us. Time to bring you sports. We begin with some Division 1 League action, and Accra Lions FC climb to the top of Zone 3 of the National Division 1 League after beating second place Tema Youth at the Tema Stadium this afternoon. Oliver Meadow and Salifu Rauf were the scorers for Accra Lions.
Check off. Hamidou, he's coming forward with purpose. Hamidou, he's found Amedo. Amedo! Amedo has continued his form once again. That was an awkward overhead kick from him. Abubakar, his kick passes Maka beautifully. Abubakar looking for the round of Eti. He's found Eti. Eti looking for the pass to Abubakar. He's giving it to Abubakar. Then it's Rauf. Accra Lions have silent the whole of Tema. And you can hear a pin drop. What a scintillating football from Accra Lions.
Of quality football on display in the Division 1 League. Let's do some athletics. And Ghana's 4x100-meter relay team has the potential of winning medals for the country. That's according to the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Athletics, Bao Husseini. For the team to achieve the target of winning medals, Bao says they must have at least 8 weeks of camping in Europe. There is more in the following report. And a quick update from the UEFA Europa League Grand Finale in Gdansk between Manchester United and Villarreal. Halftime is the Spanish side who have their noses in front. 1-0. Moreno with a goal for Villarreal. So it's Villarreal 1, Manchester United 0. We'll bring you more sports later in the bulletin.
It's time for Showbiz, and finally, Becky Bex is here wherever she went to.
I miss you too, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I was cooking up something for you and our lovely viewers. Hopefully you get to know the reason why I have to go for 2 days. But let's talk about Wiala.
Okay.
Wiala says that everybody is in the music business for different reasons. Some people are in there for the money, some are in there for the fame. And so to the young ones, don't allow yourself to be deceived. Just focus on your purpose, and that will take you wherever you want to go.
Starting as an artist, there's this urge. Every young artist wish that everybody must play your music 24/7. No, it doesn't work like that. When you're an up-and-coming artist, that time is like you have the energy and you wish everybody would play your song, but no, you have to grow with the crowd, let people know who you are. That stage, I've passed that stage long time. So when I go and perform these shows in Ghana, the fact that I don't post them and people see, it's not everything that we put out there. That's just me. My brother, my sister watching, we are all in this for different reasons. Some of us, I need to make money. Others, I need to be popular and get fresh girls. That's the boys I'm talking about. Some girls are in it to get fresh boys and rich men and all that. Oh, but yeah, but that's true. Others are in it to inspire, to motivate. Others are in it to use their voice for positivity, to develop. And others are just in it because they are confused. They don't even know what to do. So different things. So we are all, so this notion Ghanaians are not appreciating me. I think I've passed that level. So people shouldn't be saying that, because when you keep saying that, it's like all the hard work the person would do is like, you know, nah, I don't think so.
I wish I could do that.
Why can't you?
I don't know. I think I have a stiff body. What should I do? If you have any...
Maybe you should do some yoga.
Okay. All right, please. So Stonebwoy's Angloga Junction album, he says that this particular album is his greatest work ever.
Okay.
And so the reason why he wanted to throw more light on it, let people know that this is, you know, something that we have to celebrate. And so he had to, at the weekend, hold a concert for this album. We spoke to Stonebwoy.
Like I said, this is my best body of works yet when it comes to a collection of songs for an album, because we've grown to this point where, you know, we decided to represent Ghana and the rest of the world on a body of work. So the diversity was felt in there, or it's in that album, and it did so well within a period like this. So that tells you that the people like it and they gravitated to it, and therefore, you know, there's a need for me to continue to push this album, because my body of works you don't drop an album and leave it there. So this is actually part of the plan, you know, and successfully we've been able to make it happen. Although the pandemic, you know.
Dan Solak, Stonebwoy right there. Have you seen?
We'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for bringing us Showbiz.
Anytime.
And, let's get on to my journal line. Let's see some of the top stories there. Lighthouse Chapel begs court for more time to file defense. Bagwin calls for cooperation as Parliament resumes sitting. 3 persons dead, 40 more trapped in collapsed Galamsey pit at Bremen. It turns out, well, they're saying there are probably no more people in the pits, under the pits. Well, that'll be it for those of you who are watching. Enjoy Prime, but there's more news on the Joy News channel. Stay tuned in. Now, the Ghana National Association of Teachers is asking heads of schools across the country, as well as district directors of education, to cut the pretense and paint the exact picture existing in schools implementing government's flagship free SHS policy. The association wants them to speak in order to power pressure on managers of the education sector to act to save it from collapse. Speaking at the 6th Quadrennial Delegates Conference of NATS at the Asin South District, the Central Regional Chairman, Dr. Isaac Owusu, intimated that the schools are a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Richard Chukwunyako has more in the following report.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers says it's about time heads of the country's schools and directors of education began speaking for the true pictures of the schools in the country to be known. According to the association, the heads of schools and the district directors of education in the country have pretended for so long, and their silence and pretense may lead to the collapse of Ghana's education system. Central Regional Chairman of NAT, Dr. Isaac Owusu, says teachers and students continue to suffer in silence and bear the brunt of the mess that has been created. He wants such silences broken to pile pressure on the managers of the educational system to fix the problems.
It is not the duty of NAT to produce textbooks. It is not the duty of NAT to produce infrastructure, working materials. That is not our core mandate. But today, we have our leaders of this country telling us, yes, NAT do something, including our own members. When we have left the employer, staying somewhere. Teachers are sick and tired of the austerity measures being meted out to us. You see, we cannot continue remain silent when all of us here, including, it's unfortunate, our directors, are aware that all is not well. But we are pretending to presume that, oh, we shall overcome. All is not well. We have to admit, you see, if you have an education director who is not being given allowance, but at assembly, we have other equally head of departments that when it comes to, in terms of qualification, the education director is far ahead of those head of department, but they are enjoying allowances. But the director is not even getting a fuel. And we want to pretend. We cannot pretend. If the director is not getting allowance, how much more the CISO? If all is not well in GES, we are asking managers of education of this country that fix it, so that we'll all be free.
Asin South Chairman of NAT and a member of the National Council of NAT, Roxanne Boateng, says teachers are being treated unfairly as government has failed to upgrade those that have gone for further studies.
The key problem, in our view, has to do with upgrading for teachers. Teachers who have pursued their first degree after completing their diploma and they have gone for further studies, obtained their BEd certificates. Some have been told that they have to wait for 7 years before they are upgraded. In fact, we have over the years highlighted this issue over and over again. Reforms have been introduced and we need training on same. We expect that teachers are trained and all the necessary resources, textbooks, curriculum and all of that are provided for us so that we're able to deliver the expectation of the originators of that reforms. So for us, we'll be very happy if these issues are addressed.
Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Dora Francisca Edubuando, called on NAT to sit down with the employer to address the challenges militating against the sector.
There are many issues confronting teachers and the association now. I knew it before I came here, and the chairman also said it, that teachers who pursue further studies are not upgraded by Ghana Education Service promptly. I am tended to believe that that has been resolved because I do not hear that song these days. But if it is the current situation after so many years, then it is worrisome.
The teachers want an immediate fixing of the challenges bedeviling the education sector to save it from further collapse. Richard Kwejenyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
A group calling itself Political Parties Without Representation in Parliament says no amount of intimidation and name-calling will deter them from contributing to electoral reforms, especially at the level of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. The group, at a news conference Wednesday, took on the opposition NDC, which last week questioned their relevance in deciding on the proposed electoral reforms announced by the Electoral Commission ahead of the 2024 polls. General Secretary of the National Democratic Party, Mohammed Alhaji Frimpong, says the NDC only seeks to belittle their contribution.
Among many reasons the NDC assigned to its boycott of IPAC, as pronounced by NDC Director of Elections, is the inequitable vote rights at IPAC debate and denigrating other parties outside Parliament. Of course, we have even heard the Mfianfianho party pronouncement by General Mosquito. This contradicts the tendency and attitude of the NDC in the recent past when it rallied support of other parties to advance many objectives of the party. This is numerous, but suffice it to recount a few. The NDC enlisted the support of a coalition called IPRAN in party resistance against new voter register of Ghana, featuring prominently Jatabe's UFP, Odike's UPP, Bernard Mona's PNC, Ayariga's APC, etc. And it is an open secret to all political actors who were involved and participated in several demonstrations throughout Ghana. By extension, we could in future have the absurdity of the same equitable voice by segregation of number of votes of a parliamentary seat. Today, the NDC would call other parties wet, but it forgets that it pools its own archival political parties as part of its voice, namely the EGLE. I don't know whether any of you here has ever heard EGLE or seen EGLE, on the film. And Reform Party, these are sitting on the archives. Not long ago, the venerable Ghana Freedom Party presidential candidate, Madam Akuadonko, acted as the NDC policy oracle and was prominent in the NDC presidential entourage to Senchi Forum, as well as on foreign trips, which with the same allied political parties, party leaders, namely Taba, Akwesi Odike, Bernard Mona, and many others. What has changed now for this new position of seeking equity in voting at IPAC demanded by the NDC? In keeping with the sound pluralistic atmosphere, the participation by other political parties outside Parliament has been and continues to be beneficial in nurturing our multi-party participatory democracy. Indeed, any obnoxious impediments to widening the frontiers of participation of the citizenry and other political parties must not be accepted in the era of information technology and demand for national accountability.
The coalition made up of the Liberal Party of Ghana, APC, GCPP and others say the NDC's condemnation of the smaller parties at IPAC only demonstrates double standards and selfishness.
Even though other political parties outside Parliament may be facing dire resource challenges, we have the wealth of ideas, commitment and sincerity that match or even surpasses that of the duopoly in Parliament. Indeed, it is also a known fact that we nurture and fertilize opinions of our citizenry in alternatives from which a duopoly pick a leaf or two. The NDC should not forget that the CPP and to some extent PNC, derived from the PMP, had once formed government and been in Parliament. Their present situation does not diminish their intelligence and policy relevance. And any of the two parties in Parliament now can also go down the way of CPP or even the PMP. NDC alternate reforms. The arguments the NDC advanced in its supposed alternate reforms could have been better stated and shared at IPAC and not outside. to consider its boycott of IPAC as temporary and to rejoin at any future date will just be a ploy to attract undeserved public attention, a disappointment and a dereliction of duty to its supporters. A sore loser. The persistent condemnation by NDC of political parties that express support for the compilation of the 2020 new voters register at a joint IPAC and eminent advisory committee meeting exposed NDC as a sore loser. At a 2-day workshop in 2015 at Aliza Hotel, political parties purportedly supported the NDC rejection of new voter register under Madam Charlotte Osei. How were the political parties then? It is common knowledge that in a democracy, obsession with desire for power does not translate into an entitlement when all parties must subject themselves to rules and process. Political grandstanding. The saying that if wishes were horses, beggars will ride aptly applies to the NDC in their unrelenting posture of seeing every act in our democratic process as going against them as the largest opposition. It is a dictatorial and seditious attitude to think that the NDC should always have its way. Indeed, the NDC itself has superintended over many of the issues it complains of today. The tradition has thus been inherited from the NDC. We have seen the MPP in a minority which also pursued its demands, but never boycotted IPAC, not that we may recall. The premises of the EC, equally, if not more, has been militarized in the tenure of Madam Charlotte Osei when the MPP was a minority. Again, there must be decent closure to every dispute pursued appropriately by a democratic process or adjudicated at a competent court of jurisdiction.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has criticized government over its delay in the composition of statutory boards. According to Haruna Idrisu, road contractors are really under severe hardship due to absence of the Road Fund Board to approve their funds for the execution of their projects. He described as unacceptable any attempt by sector ministers to present the distribution formula of statutory boards to Parliament. Speaking on the floor of Parliament, he demanded the urgent composition of various statutory boards, including National Health Insurance and GET Fund.
The urgency of the consideration of the statutory funds, the GET Fund, the National Health Insurance Fund, and the constitutionally established District Assembly Common Fund under Article 252. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, the boards of these institutions have not been constituted as is expected of the President. Quite apart from that, take for instance the Road Fund. Our road contractors live on it and they get monthly releases as the Road Fund is constituted. The Minister for Roads was inaugurated 5th of March. We are ending May. Why is the Road Fund Board not constituted? Why is it not functioning? How do you expect contractors to survive? January, February, March, we can understand we're undergoing a transition. Mr. Speaker, a lot of them, we have a duty to protect the Ghanaian private sector, and that duty must be extended to Ghanaian contractors who the Road Fund owes. Even as government cannot find money for them, at least administratively, let the administrative machinery work with assurances that government is constituting the Road Fund. Many institutions, chief executives have not been appointed, boards have not been appointed. I do not share the view that this function or roles be reduced to ministerial role. I cannot imagine a Minister for Education wanting to come to Parliament to present the GET Fund to Parliament. That will not be acceptable. It must be the GET Fund Board, so constituted as required by the Parent Act creating it. National Health Insurance Fund, there are challenges we need to know. Mr. Speaker, matter of urgent public importance, the President must wake up and act urgently to secure and protect the interests of our road contractors by getting the road minister. It's a shared responsibility to get the Road Fund Board properly constituted so that whatever money they've had in the last few months they can get some respite from the releases from the fund. One cannot understand why it's taking this long to get the road fund constituted. How long does it take for a president to appoint a chief executive? Why? You don't have the men. Let us know.
Reacting to the minority leader's comment, the majority leader said Chairman Sabonsu conceded the composition of the board is long overdue.
Struggling to see the relevant provision of the standing orders that the minority leader was coming under. He cited Order 72. The Speaker, to be fair, let's read the provision of Order 72. By the indulgence of the House and leave of the Speaker, a member may, at the time appointed for such statements under Order 53, that is order of business, explain a matter of personal nature, or make a statement on a matter of urgent public importance. Any statement other than a personal statement may be commented upon by other members for a limited duration of time, not exceeding 1 hour. The terms of any such proposed statement shall first be submitted to Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue that has been raised by the Honourable Minority Leader, I believe, certainly is of some urgency. It's a matter of public importance. But to be fair to the House and to be fair to the Speaker, you must submit a statement. Mr. Speaker, as I said, I think the matter raised is a matter of public importance, and we must dialogue over it. I think that we need really to engage. We need to engage on that.
Ranking member on the local government committee, Neil Antivandapoy, is blaming the governing NPP for what he describes as the alarming rate of applicants vying for the position of MMDCEs. The Dododio MP alleged that the governing NPP has been in the practice of handing positions to persons deemed to be party loyalists. That's the surge in numbers, citing a DC who struggled to deliver on his mandate because of his lack of proficiency in the English language. Speaking with Joy News' Kwesi Parker-Wilson, the MP asked the NPP to consider applicants with a minimum of master's degree for the position.
Let me first say that I'm not surprised, because the impression has been created as if the position is just for anyone. We've had numbers before. During the tenure of Professor Mills, I was privileged to have been the secretary to the committee that was set up to go around the country and evaluate applications for people who wanted to be MMDCEs. What we did was that we go around, there's a regional committee that does the work and shortlist number of applicants for us. And then we'll also go through, interview the applicants. Some of them do some quantitative work for them. And then after that, we will shortlist 3 for the President's Committee for consideration. This time, the numbers are just alarming, because we have demeaned the position such a way that it's become a position of patronage. Patronage? Yes, everybody at all thinks that because he's worked for the party, he deserves to be the MMDCE. We are not putting emphasis on qualification and competence. We are putting emphasis on reward. So the position has become a reward mechanism for people who were disappointed in the parliamentary primaries, or who wanted to hold an executive position and couldn't get. I think seriously going forward, we must critically look at, 1, qualification. Because, let me be frank with you, the amount of resources that goes to the MMDAs, and then looking at our new decentralized system, the professionals who are going to work under the assemblies, be it the engineers, the agric officers, the health professionals, the education officers and things, you need somebody with at least a minimum requirement or qualification. Okay.
And what should that qualification be?
At least a master's degree.
A master's degree for
yes.
MMDC?
Yes. Because, you see, that person should, 1, assume some confidence in the people he's working with. for them to trust the ability and the competence and the capabilities of the person. Not that this person is knowledgeable enough, at least to some level, he's gone beyond a first degree. That way, it will engender confidence in the people he's going to work with, one. It also build that confidence in the person himself in dealing with these people. In one of our rounds, we met a DCE who had difficulty appreciating just the small note we gave him. Because this is somebody who never thought of becoming a DCE. He's only a DCE because the father died during the campaign, and because of the way the father died, they thought that they must compensate the family, and so they made him a DCE. He has no clue, he has no knowledge, no competence. This is just somebody who finished secondary school. Look, you could see that that person is so empty, but he's a DCE.
So clearly that was going to affect the operations of the assembly.
Exactly. I think that we must begin to look seriously at the issue. You know, last time when these numbers have also come up because of the euphoria that was generated by the debate over the election of MMDCEs and how it ended. I thought that we'll really look at that issue again. And I think our position at that time, contrary to the position of the majority, was sound. Because we want election of MMDCEs, but not on political lines.
Now, the Member of Parliament for New Diviase constituency, Adams Abdul Salam, is lamenting the lack of personnel to drive the constituency ambulance, which he says is affecting emergency service delivery in the area. The MP recounted how the absence of an EMT driver contributed to the death of a head teacher at Adansi Subin camp. Abdul Salam, delivering a statement on the floor of the House, charged government to employ adequate personnel to facilitate the effective provision of emergency healthcare services across the country.
Last year, the government commissioned and distributed 307 ambulances to all 275 constituencies in the country to help improve emergency healthcare delivery. Mr. Speaker, this without a doubt has enhanced emergency health care services in our various constituencies. However, the agency is faced with challenges that sometimes exacerbate the conditions of the sick and the injured or even lead to avoidable deaths. For instance, Mr. Speaker, on 2nd February 2021, Mr. Teko Wilson, a head teacher at Adansi Subin camp, a community in the New Diviase constituency, was involved in a car accident. When he was returning to the community for work, he sustained life-threatening injuries and was rushed to the New Diviase Government Hospital for treatment. Upon reaching the hospital, he was immediately referred to the Okonfuanochi Teaching Hospital and needed services of an ambulance. When friends of the victim reached out to the New Diviase ambulance service, they were told the driver of the ambulance was indisposed and therefore were unable to render services without a designated ambulance driver. Mr. Speaker, it took 5 hours after a request for the Adansi Asopa constituency ambulance to arrive.
The regional qualifiers for the National Science and Maths quiz recorded a huge upset today after Awudome Senior High School denied one of Volta region's most consistent representatives, Maoli School, an opportunity on the big stage in October. Students of the school say a similar fate will befall their opponents during the main competition. Listening to them, and an old student of Maoli School who is now a teacher at Awudome SHS.
Rise and shine, arise and shine. Arise and shine, Awuso, arise.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
And we conquered.
I lack words to actually express how I feel right now.
Okay.
You know, right? My colleague here is an old student of Maoli. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. And whilst training our contestants, he has always been stressed on the fact that we must beat Maoli. We must beat Maoli. And today, that dream has become a reality.
You're an old student of Maoli School?
Yes, yes.
Or you're a teacher at Awudome?
Yes, please.
And you wanted Awudome to beat your former school? Why?
I work in Awudome Senior High School. I receive salary in Awudome Senior High School. Maoli School took my money as school fees. So now that I am gaining income in Awudome Senior High School, all my support is in Awudome Senior High School. I wish Maoli were in a different group and I would have come to support them. But with Awudome Senior High School, 100% support for Awu School.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't you think your old students will be like, oh, why are you doing this? You've not been loyal to the school.
Oh, no. They will understand. Better luck next year. Next year, I think they'll be in Port C. And they'll meet some other school that will make them, the competition will go in their favor. Too much kokolo, I guess. Too much kokolo for them. Kokolo is a type of porridge. I think they took it before coming.
Oh, okay.
They took kokolo before coming today.
Okay, so not the kokolo that we know.
No, not the kokolo that you know.
Okay.
They took kokolo before coming. So better luck next time.
Yeah, it's been great. Yes, we expected it. We know we have worked towards it. And we know we'll win. Even this morning, I assured them that we're going to win the game with the power of God.
Through toil and sweat, our school was built to make us all what we are today. All our wounds can past and present, proclaim the name of your mother school. Truth, love, and service giving. In the name of God we pray. All our wounds can past and present, proclaim the name of your mother school.
And congratulations to them. We're taking a break here on Joy News Prime. We're bringing you more business.
Yeah, welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. The Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority has urged businesses trading under the Continental Free Trade Agreement to ensure their goods and services meet set standards. He was speaking at the launch of the 10th Ghana Quality Awards of the AGI.
This year, we are trading among Africa. You can sell to South Africa, and for the appropriate goods, you pay no tariffs. So now the door is open. But one thing is not compromised: quality. I believe that Ghanaian companies can export to Africa and beyond, but we have to meet the needs of the markets, and that's where quality comes in. And I am looking forward to the GSA supporting industry to export. The aftermarket is supposed to be huge, 1.3 billion people, and we are hoping that Ghanaian companies will partner with AGI and with the GSA to be able to export. As we support the industry awards, this is our pledge once again. We make this pledge every year. We are here to support industry to grow, especially the micro, the small, the medium enterprises. We have started graduating our charges as well as our services so that everyone can have a step onto the door. Please talk to us. You may think you cannot meet the requirements. Our job is to help you meet it. We do not pass you, we do not fail you. We help you meet the requirements so that you can export. Because when we have more industries exporting more, then that means that we get more money. When we get more money, then it means we get more jobs. When we get more jobs, it means we have more fun.
Well, the Association of Ghana Industries has welcomed the establishment of the National Development Bank, hoping it will improve considerably access to credit following post-COVID-19 economic recovery. Speaking at the launch of the 10th Ghana Quality Awards, the Chief Executive, Sechum Akwabwa, reiterated the need for government to prioritize the full recovery and resilience of local industries.
We experienced a drastic slowdown in business activity last year with the outbreak of the pandemic. Global supply chains were terribly disrupted, and this development exposed our vulnerability to shocks as an economy. The GDP growth of 0.9% for our manufacturing subsector is not the best. We all acknowledge that. Considering the turbulence that our businesses went through, it has become expedient to adjust the dynamics of local and international trade, taking cognizance of the ASCFTA, which remains the largest single market. Against this background, I believe it is crucial that our businesses quickly adjust to keep wheels of industries running. Therefore, the theme, positioning local industry, is in sync with the times of the season. In this regard, ADI would like to see government prioritize its intervention to prop up industries. May I reiterate that industry appreciates efforts by government that have made it possible for Ghana to play host to the CFTA Secretariat. This is indeed no mean achievement. Efforts by government to set up the Development Bank is also very much welcomed by industries, because access to credit and cost of credit remain a major challenge for most of our businesses, especially our SMEs. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement, considered as the flagship project under the AU Agenda 2063, has the potential of being one of the world's largest markets, and thus present a myriad of opportunities for businesses in Ghana. It is therefore extremely important that industry gets the needed support to boost local production and manufacturing infrastructure, to add value to its commodities for export, as well as develop the capacities of our human resource to fully benefit from the CFTA. Even though the number of government programs to support industry are commendable, we believe the timeliness of the interventions make a big difference in resuscitating local businesses. I therefore urge government to expedite action of its Obatampa Cares program to propel us to leverage the opportunities of the CFTA. We are anxious to see how these initiatives can inure to the building of capacity of local industries.
Well, we now bring you a summary of international business news this day. And that'll be all for business. I'm Charles Aite. Do stay because sport is up next.
Time to bring you the second installment of Sports. Quick update on the UEFA Europa League. We are well into stoppage time in that game as Manchester United won, Villarreal won. 3 minutes of added time, and we've done just about a minute and a half of that. We'll keep you posted, but majority of rugby national team players have defended President of the Ghana Rugby Football Union, Herbert Mensah, following a petition by the Ghana Rugby Union Players Association. Joy Sports' Asari Bediako has the rest of the story.
In April this year, Joy Sports reported a 9-point petition filed by the Ghana Rugby Football Union Board enumerating a plethora of allegations against the president of the union, Herbert Mensah. The Ghana Rugby Union Players Association Grouper alleged players who live in Herbert Mensah's residence are not happy, but a member of the national rugby team, Kofi Moncho, has dismissed the allegations.
The living condition is normal, it's okay for us. We've been here for some time now, and we realize how things are going on, and we try to keep our best, do our best to stay, so it's okay for us.
So do you receive all the things you're supposed to receive?
Yes, we do receive. When every morning we train, every morning. Even if we don't go for trainings, those of us in the building, we get it. We get our, small in the morning too, and during the day we got all everything, and in the month too. At the end of the month, we get our monthly stipend.
So every month you get your...
Yes, every month.
Grouper also alleged Herbert Mensah forces players to work for him without salary. Here is Portia Mensah, who has lived in the president's house since March last year.
Even when you're in your house, you need to sweep. No, your mom doesn't have to come and call you to come and sweep. You know what to do. We get our soap to wash our things. Oh, like we sleep in good bed and stuff. We don't buy anything. So what they are saying there, it's a lie. We are very, very comfortable because I've been here throughout the COVID, and still I'm here. Because when I'm in my house, I need to do what I'm supposed to do. Yes.
There's also an allegation national team players receive 25 Ghana cedis as bonus for international competitions. Prince Wama, a key member of the Eagles, describes the allegations as laughable.
Mostly when we go to tournaments, Mr. Herbert Mensah doesn't pay us directly. It's the technical team who took the team to the tournament who do pay us. And I've never received any 25 cedis from any technical team whenever we came back from tournament. Each and every morning when I go to training, I receive my TNT for coming to training. I receive my monthly stipend each and every month. In this Ghana, which of the national team players are being put on monthly basis? Even during the COVID where we are not training, we are in the house, I was still getting my monthly stipend.
Kalitos Bosoka, a member of the Eagles who got injured in a car accident this year, is grateful to Herbert Mensah for his support.
As I'm talking right now, he's the one who paid for my scandal, as I already said. So I can't say he's not supporting. He's supporting. He's doing everything. He's a father. Yeah, I can say he's my father. I went online. I saw people saying Herbert should go. Herbert should go. I said, should go for what? And if he goes, who should come? If there is someone who is ready to take it, the person should compete for it. But if there is nobody, he is the one. And already he has lifted Ghana rugby to the highest standard. He has lifted Ghana rugby. I won't lie to you, because when I started playing rugby in 2007. Even those times we don't even take flights, we travel by bus. But when Herbert came, we take flight. He took us out of this African zone, and now to the world rugby. Now we are being recognized through Herbert.
Despite the leadership issues at Ghana Rugby, the Eagles are focused on their preparations for next month's Rugby Africa Cup in Kampala. The Eagles clash with host nation Uganda on July 10 and lock horns with Algeria 8 days later.
Let's head over to Italy, and Antonio Conte has left his role as Inter Milan manager 3 weeks after leading the club to a first Serie A title in 11 years. There is more in the following report.
The 51-year-old Italian spent 2 years in charge of Inter and had 1 year remaining on his contract. In a statement, Inter thanked Conte for his extraordinary work at the club. Conte has recently been linked with Real Madrid. Amid speculation, Zinedine Zidane will leave this summer and the vacancy at Tottenham. Inter added that the decision to terminate the former Chelsea manager's contract was mutual, despite helping Inter Milan end Juventus' dominance of the Italian
Italian top flight, there has been speculation over Conte's future at the club for months. Inter's owner, the Chinese retail group Suning, is reportedly suffering financial pressure, which is expected to lead to cost-cutting at the club and player sales this summer. In February, Jiangsu FC, also owned by Suning, folded just 3 months after winning their first Chinese Super League title. Inter had finished 21 points behind Juventus in the season prior to Conte taking charge, but several high-profile signings, including Romelu Lukaku, Christian Eriksen and Ashley Young, had a transformative effect in his first season at the helm.
And that's it for sports in Gdansk. In the UEFA Europa League final, we are headed into extra time as Manchester United won, Villarreal won after 90 minutes. We'll bring you all the load a bit later at 10:30 p.m. on FunZone. Do make it. My name is Hans Mensando.
And that'll be it for the bulletin for this evening. I'm Mr. Lai. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night.